In this section, we'll talk about the larynx. Larynx, the position. It's situated in the anterior part of the neck, just below the hyoid bone, and it extends from vertebral level of C3 to C6. The structure includes the framework of the larynx is made up of cartilages which connected by membrane and ligaments and moved by muscles. It's lined by mucous membrane. There are 4 cartilages in the laryngeal cartilages. This is the thyroid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage, and this is the epiglottic cartilage. And the arytenoid cartilage is here, the small one, a paired small one. Thyroid cartilage is shield-shaped cartilage. There are 3 parts, which is laryngeal prominence is here. The superior third notch is here, and the superior and inferior corner, this one and this one. Cricoid cartilage is complete ring of the cartilage. It's just like the signet ring, this one. It has 2 parts, the arc and the lumina. Arytenoid cartilage is paired, pyramid-like, this one. It also has 2 parts, the vocal process and the muscular process. Epiglottic cartilage is just like a leaf. It's elastic cartilage and attached by a stalk to the thyroid cartilage. As for the laryngeal joints, we'll talk about the cricohyoid joint and the cricoarytenoid joint, as shown in the picture. Membrane. The thyroid membrane extends from hyoid bone to thyroid cartilage. The cricotracheal ligaments is between the cricocartilage and the first ring of trachea. This is the cricotrachea, this one. Quadrangular movement is between epiglottic, thyroid, and arytenoid cartilages. And the vertebral ligament is the lower free border of the membrane. This is the quadrangular membrane. The corners, elastatis, is between arytenoid, thyroid, and cricocartilages. It has 2 sections, the vocal ligaments and the medial cricothyroid ligament. Especially for medial cricothyroid ligaments, it may be the site of cricothyrotomy during acute respiratory obstruction. This picture illustrates the ligaments. As for the muscles or larynx, here we list 5. The cricoid contains the vocal ligament, while the thyroarytenoid just do the opposite thing. The larynx cricoarytenoid closes the glottis, and the posterior cricoid opens the glottis. The arytenoid just closes the aperture of larynx. This demonstrates the muscles. the muscle of cricothyroid tense the vocal ligament. The muscle of supraarytenoid relax the vocal ligament. Posterior cricoarytenoid just open the glottis. Lateral criconoid close the glottis. And as for the aperture of larynx, it is bounded by upper border epiglottic cartilage, arytenocephaly folds, and the interarytenoid notch, just as shown in the picture. Larynx cavity. There are two pairs of shaft-like folds. The vestibular folds, its fixed folds on each side of the larynx, and it's formed by mucosal membrane covering the vestibular ligaments, and it's pink in color. Another are called vocal folds. It's a mobile fold on each side of the larynx and formed by mucosal membrane covering the vocal ligament and is white in color, just as this one. Laryngeal cavity. There are two features, the rhymer vestibuli and also feature of the glottis. Feature of the glottis is the narrowest part of the laryngeal cavity. It has two parts, intermembrane parts and intercartilaginous parts. Three parts. First is the laryngeal vestibular. It extends from the aperture of larynx to the rhymer vestibuli. As for the tubercle of the epiglottis, it's the lower part of the epiglottis, just this one. The second one is intermedial cavity of larynx. It extends from the level of the rhymer vestibula to the level of the fissure of glottis. Ventricle of larynx is a small recess between vestibular and vocal folds on each side. The third one is infraglottic cavity. It extends from the level of the vocal folds to the lower border of the cricoid cartilage. This demonstrates the larynx in the human body. This is the section for larynx. See you next class.